Now, a new financial report says that money worries are causing workers to lose sleep, feel embarrassed, and even lose concentration or cause arguments within their family units. Well, the latest financial well-being report says that financial pressures are expected to continue. Well, London Live spoke to Jonathan Watts-Leigh from Wealth at Work to find out more about the pressures facing both workers and employers.
We've done two studies. We've done one study which has been talking to the employers. So we spoke to around 200 employers representing about 1.5 million employees. And then we did a separate study talking effectively to the employees. So one of the key bits of data that came out from the employer research was that 96% of organisations said that, yeah, financial well-being is really important and we understand that we need to have stuff in place to support our employees. But then when we asked the employees, 41% said, well, we don't feel supported by our employer at all. So clearly there is a mismatch in well, certainly in perception, but potentially reality as well.
Would you characterise what the employer says as kind of lip service, or is that an unfair characterisation?
Yeah, I think it's slightly unfair because I think what's happening is there's a bit of a journey going on at the moment. So if we look at the wellbeing agenda generally over the last few years, it's become a lot more prevalent. But a lot of the areas that were looked at were things like physical wellbeing and mental wellbeing. And I guess financial well-being is almost the new kid on the block. So organisations are struggling, if you like, to try and think about what do we need to put in place, and then clearly trying to put that stuff in place. But there's good data within the research which shows that we are moving in the right direction. When we did the research a year ago, only 12% of organisations said that they had that financial guidance support in place. Whereas when we did the research this year, 41% said either we've now got it in place or we are planning to put it in place. So I think the direction of travel is the right one, but clearly there's still a long way to go.
What was causing the mismatch in terms of how would employees say, this is how I define financial well-being, and my employers aren't doing this? And what would the employers say, this is how I define financial well-being, and clearly we're doing that? What caused the gap in perception there?
Yeah, so I think some of the examples of that are around things like the benefits that the employer offers. So a lot of organisations that we talk to will have a whole suite of benefits available to their employees. So if you think at the moment, things that might be quite relevant given the cost of living crisis, maybe things like discount vouchers. So a lot of those employers would offer discount vouchers off of things like the weekly shop. So you get 5% off the weekly shop. But then when we looked at, well, how many employees are actually taking advantage of those discount vouchers, often it was in single digit percentages. So you can therefore understand where the employer is saying, well, hold on a minute, we've put this in place. But then on the other hand, the employee's going, well, we don't know anything about it.
Now, I doubt many employees would ever turn down a raise in their salary or wages. It would be pretty unusual if they did, I feel. Is there an element of employees think a magic bullet would be just pay me a bit more? And is that sort of a constant tension with employers?
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment in that if you like, from an employee perspective, the easy solution is, well, if I just earn more money, then my worries go away. But actually, we know that generally speaking, that isn't the case. It potentially does help, certainly at the lower end. But we know that even in more normalised times, so when there isn't a cost of living crisis going on, that actually people, generally speaking, are quite poor at managing their budgets. So if you take some everyday expenses, but which are quite, relatively speaking, are quite big ticket items. So you think about mobile contracts, you think about broadband contracts, you think about insurances, so car insurance or household insurance. We know people do not shop around. And yet if they did shop around, they could literally save hundreds and hundreds of pounds, most probably, on those sorts of items, but people don't do it. So we do need to be a little bit careful here, I think, because whilst we could say, yeah, a big pay rise would answer all my problems, well, A, can the employer afford that? Yes or no? the answer probably is no. So then you do go back to this situation about how do people manage their money. So if you think of the combination effect, and a cumulative effect of, for example, their employer does offer discount vouchers off of the weekly grocery shop, so they take advantage of that. They do shop around for their insurances and their broadband, and the impact of that cumulative effect can actually help people manage their money much better. But of course, for a lot of people, they just don't know where to start.